If you told someone 5 years ago that a group of fans would work directly with a city government to dedicate an entire subway train to one artist, running every single day for a full month, most people would have laughed. They would have said that is not how fan projects work. That is not how city governments work. That is not how any of this works. But then again, most people never accounted for Jimin. And most people have never truly understood what it means to be part of ARMY. Because right now, in Busan, South Korea, there is a train running through the city that is unlike any other. It is not advertising a new album. It is not selling a product. It is not a commercial campaign funded by a corporation. It is entirely the work of fans, real people, from all over the world, who came together with one mission: to make sure that when ParkJimin walks back into his hometown for the first time in years, the city itself tells him he is loved. And if you are watching this for the first time and you think I am exaggerating, I need you to stay with me, because what ARMY pulled off in Busan this June is not just a fan project. It is a moment in history. Welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now, because we cover everything Jimin and BTS. And right now, there is genuinely no better place to be a fan than right here, right now, watching this. Let us get into it. To understand why the ChimChim train is such a big deal, you need to understand the context of what June 2026 means for Jimin and for ARMY. After years of waiting, years of solo music, of military service, of watching Jimin perform on stages around the world, while knowing that the full reunion was still somewhere on the horizon, BTS is back. The Arirang World Tour is already one of the most talked about tours in the history of K-pop. They have performed in Goyang, Tokyo, Tampa, El Paso, Mexico City, Stanford, Las Vegas. They have sold out every single show. And now, the tour is coming home. On June 12th and June 13th, 2026, BTS will perform at Busan Asiad Main Stadium. 2 nights, 1 city, the hometown of Jimin and Jungkook. And the emotional weight of that is almost impossible to put into words. Think about what it means for Jimin specifically. This is the city where he grew up. This is the city where he first learned to dance, where he trained before moving to Seoul, where his family still lives, where his father runs a cafe that ARMY knows by name. This is not just another concert stop on a world tour. This is Jimin standing on a stage in front of his people, in the city that shaped him, with his 6 members beside him, on the 13th anniversary of BTS's debut. June 13th, 2026 marks 13 years since BTS first debuted. And the second night of the Busan concert falls exactly on that date. There is no way to overstate how significant that is. This is not just a homecoming. This is the homecoming. And ARMY knew that. ARMY felt that. Which is why, long before Jimin ever set foot back in Busan for this tour, fans started planning something that no one had ever done before. 2 fan organizations, All for Jimin and Jimin Alliance WW, came together with a vision. Not a banner project. Not a streaming project. Not a birthday ad on a Times Square billboard, which is something fans have done for Jimin before and which is already incredible. They wanted to do something that would be woven into the daily life of Busan. Something that ordinary people, people who had never been to a BTS concert, people who were not K-pop fans, people who were just trying to get to work or school or home, would encounter and feel. They wanted to bring Jimin into the everyday fabric of his own city in a way that had never been done before. And they succeeded. Working in cooperation with the Busan Transportation Corporation, the official government body that oversees public transit in the city, they received permission to transform an entire car on Busan Metro Line 3 into the ChimChim train. Not a sticker on a window. Not a small poster inside a carriage. An entire dedicated train car, decorated with Jimin's imagery, running on one of the main metro lines in Busan, not for a day or a week, but for the entire month of June. And during the concert period, June 12th and 13th, the train will run on a full-time schedule to accommodate the massive influx of ARMY coming into the city from around the world. Let me say that again, because I want you to fully absorb it. ARMY negotiated with and received official cooperation from a government transportation authority to make this happen. This is not a guerrilla fan campaign. This is not something that was done in secret and taken down the next day. This is an official, sanctioned, city-endorsed tribute to ParkJimin, running every single day for 30 days in his hometown, in the city that raised him. If that does not give you chills, I do not know what will. Now, I know some of you watching this might be wondering, how does something like this even happen? How do you go from a fan idea to official cooperation with the city's transportation department? And the honest answer is, it takes a level of organization, professionalism, and dedication that most fan bases simply do not have. But this is ARMY, and more specifically, this is the part of ARMY that organizes for Jimin. All for Jimin and Jimin Alliance WW are not small operations running on enthusiasm alone. These are coordinated global alliances with real infrastructure, real budgets, real communication channels, and a track record of executing fan projects that regularly go viral. They have done subway ads before. They have done billboards before. They have done streaming campaigns and voting projects and charity drives in Jimin's name. But the ChimChim train represents a new level even for them. And what is fascinating about this specific project is the choice of medium. A subway train. Think about that for a moment. Why a train? Why not another billboard, which is flashier and more immediately photogenic? Why not an airport ad, which international army visiting Busan would see the moment they land? The answer is that a train says something different. A billboard is something you look at. A train is something you ride. A billboard is passive. A train is part of your daily movement through the world. When you step onto a subway car decorated with images of Jimin, you are not consuming a piece of advertising. You are literally traveling inside a space dedicated to him. You are moving through the city with him. 4 ARMY members who made the pilgrimage to Busan for the concert, riding the ChimChim train on Line 3 toward the stadium, is going to be one of those moments they remember for the rest of their lives. And for the regular residents of Busan, people who ride that line every day without thinking about it, seeing Jimin's face in their daily commute is a quiet, persistent reminder that one of the most famous people on the planet came from their city. That is the power of what ARMY chose to do here. It is not loud and ephemeral. It is gentle and constant. It runs every day. It does not go away. And that is what makes it so extraordinary. If you are enjoying this video, and you want to stay updated on everything happening with Jimin and BTS ahead of the Busan concerts, drop a like right now and make sure you're subscribed. We have a lot more content coming this month, and you do not want to miss any of it. Let us also talk about the scale of what is happening in Busan right now, because the ChimChim train does not exist in isolation. It is one piece of an entire city that has essentially turned itself into a BTS experience. BTS The City Arirang is an official project running in Busan from June 5th through June 21st, offering fans multiple ways to engage with BTS's music and world throughout the city. Arte Museum Busan is hosting an immersive BTS experience translating the Arirang album into multi-sensory digital installations. Pop-up events, merchandise booths, fan gathering spaces, Busan during concert week is genuinely unlike any other city on earth right now. And at the center of all of it is Jimin, the city's own son, returning home with the biggest tour of his career. 4 ARMY coming in from outside Korea, from Indonesia, from the United States, from Brazil, from Europe, from every corner of the world where BTS has fans. This concert is something that many of them have been waiting years to experience. Some of them booked flights and accommodation the moment the Busan dates were announced. Some of them have been saving for this trip for months. And when they arrive at Busan Station, or at Gimhae Airport, and they navigate their way to Line 3, there's a very real possibility that they will step onto the ChimChim train before they even reach the concert venue. And when that happens, when a fan who traveled halfway around the world to see Jimin perform in his hometown steps onto a subway car covered in his image on the way to the stadium in the city where he grew up, that is a moment that ARMY created. That is a gift that all for Jimin and Jimin Alliance WW gave to every single person making that journey. I want to take a moment here to talk about the relationship between Jimin and his fans, because I think it is something that people outside the fandom sometimes struggle to understand. It is not simply a case of a famous person and the people who admire them. There is a reciprocity to it that is genuinely rare in the music industry. Jimin has been consistently and publicly vocal about how much ARMY means to him, in interviews, in Weverse lives, in the moments between songs at concerts where he stops and just talks to the crowd. He has spoken about how ARMY's support during his military service kept him going. He has spoken about how overwhelming it is to come back to stages and see the people who waited. And ARMY, in return, does not just consume his music and move on. They invest in him. They organize for him. They create for him. The ChimChim train is not just a fan project. It is a love letter from tens of thousands of people to one artist who they believe deserves to feel celebrated in his own hometown. And here's the thing about that, it works. Jimin notices. He has commented on fan projects before. He has teared up at concerts talking about what fans do for him. There is no question that when he finds out about the ChimChim train, and he will find out, because this has already gone viral, it is going to mean something real to him. Not as a celebrity receiving praise, but as a person from Busan seeing his city respond to his return in a way that goes beyond anything he could have expected. Now let us talk about what the concerts themselves are likely to feel like, because that context matters when you understand what ARMY has built around them. BTS's first performance in Busan in nearly 4 years. June 12th and June 13th. The June 13th show, the anniversary night, is going to be available for live viewing in cinemas worldwide. So even if you could not get tickets, even if you are not in Korea, you will have a way to be part of that moment. And I strongly encourage everyone watching this to look into the cinema screenings in your country, because watching BTS perform on their 13th debut anniversary in Jimin and Jungkook's hometown on a big screen with other ARMY around you is going to be an experience in itself. The set list for the Arirang tour has been incredible. Every city has gotten something special. There have been surprise songs, there have been extended solo moments, there have been freestyles. Jimin specifically has delivered some of the most talked about individual performances of the entire tour. His presence on stage during this comeback era has been described by fans and critics alike as something that transcends performance. It is expression at the highest level. And in Busan, performing for a crowd that includes people who knew him before he was famous, people from his neighborhood, his city, his community, that energy is going to hit differently. Every single person in that stadium knows they are witnessing something unrepeatable. This is also worth noting for those of you who have been following Jimin's brand momentum over the past few months. He has just maintained his #1 position in the star ranking male idol vote for 240 consecutive weeks. 240 weeks. That is more than 4.5 years of consecutive weekly #1 rankings in a voting category that includes every male idol in the Korean entertainment industry. That is not a streak. That is a dynasty. And starting from this month's vote, the star ranking results will be counted toward the AAA 2026 Star Ranking Award, which means that what ARMY is doing for Jimin right now, with projects like the ChimChim train, with the voting momentum, with the global visibility they are generating, is not just symbolic. It is building towards something even bigger. Jimin also came into this month ranked #1 in the May 2026 Boy Group Individual Brand Reputation Survey, with keyword analysis pointing to terms like perfect, enthusiastic, and breakthrough. The Arirang tour has done extraordinary things for his visibility as a performer and as a cultural figure. His blonde, braided hair look from the Las Vegas concert went completely viral on TikTok. His stage presence has been singled out in multiple major media outlets covering the tour. And now he is coming home to Busan, where all of that global visibility gets to meet local pride in a way that is going to feel intensely personal for everyone involved. Let me come back to the ChimChim train one more time, because I want to close this part of the conversation with something that I think gets to the heart of what makes this project so meaningful. We live in a world where fan projects have become increasingly sophisticated, increasingly expensive, and increasingly visual. Billboards in Times Square are almost expected now. Streaming campaigns run around the clock. Voting armies mobilize within minutes. The bar for what counts as a remarkable fan effort keeps rising because ARMY keeps raising it. But the ChimChim train does something different from all of those things. It does not just place Jimin in a visible location. It embeds him in the movement of a city. It makes him part of the daily rhythm of Busan in a way that is quiet, ongoing, and deeply rooted in where he came from. There is a poetry to a subway train as the vehicle for this tribute. A subway carries people from where they are to where they need to be. It moves through the underground and emerges into daylight. It is infrastructure. It is not glamorous. It is not temporary. It is not designed to draw attention to itself. And yet for this 1 month in June, one car on Busan Metro Line 3 is something entirely different. It is a declaration. It says, "This man came from here. This is a city, And we want everyone who travels through the city to know that. That is what ARMY built. Not just a moment, but a presence. Not just a project, but a statement. And in doing so, they have once again demonstrated that the relationship between Jimin and the people who love his work is one of the most extraordinary things happening in contemporary music. If you are not already subscribed to this channel, I need you to do that right now. Hit the bell icon so you get notified every time we post, because in the next few days we are going to have full coverage of the Busan concerts, reaction content, performance breakdowns, and everything else you need to feel the full weight of what this moment means for Jimin and for BTS. This is a once-in-a-generation run of events, and we are going to be right here for all of it. I want to hear from you in the comments. Are you going to the Busan concerts? Are you watching the cinema live viewing? If you could ride the ChimChim train on the way to the stadium, what would that feel like for you? Tell me below. I read every comment, and I love seeing how this community responds to moments like this. Because at the end of the day, that is what this video is really about. It is not just about a decorated subway car. It is about what it means when millions of people, across different countries and languages and backgrounds, agree that one person deserves to feel celebrated in the place that made them who they are. ARMY looked at Busan and said, this city should know what it raised. This city should feel the weight of who Jimin has become. And they did not wait for someone else to make that happen. They made it happen themselves, with coordination and creativity and care, on a scale that no one in the history of K-pop fandom has ever managed before. Not a poster, not a billboard, a train, running every day, in his city, for a full month. That is the power of ARMY. That is the love for Jimin. And that, when the concerts are done and the crowds have gone home and the ChimChim train completes its final run on line 3, is what will remain. The knowledge that when it mattered, when he was coming home, the city was ready. Because his people made it ready. Subscribe, like this video, share it with every ARMY you know. And I will see you in the next one.